Welcome to Shadows of Innocence, where we deep dive into the darkest corners of Lolita. I'm Richard Stashy, and I see this story differently, through the lens of a serial killer hiding in plain sight. Fair warning, this is my opinion, my interpretation of a tale spun by an unreliable narrator, so take it as a fun theory, not fact. I'm not here to spoil the twisted minds I've uncovered, but let's just say Humphrey's got more blood on his hands than you might think. Stick around for a wild ride with Shadows of Innocence, and let's uncover the killer's mask. Alright, to cliff note this very long story into a very short summary, I've been having some issues in my other channel, Tinker to Tales, since I've been posting the Lolita videos. So I've decided to move all my old Lolita videos into this new channel, Shadows of Innocence, and anything else that I come up with new or similar to the subject of will be placed onto this channel. After watching this old video of mine, kind of makes sense 2 years ago as a reactionary video for me watching the 1962 movie, and I was really thinking about making a new video, but I decided that I'm going to keep this original older video. I'm just going to do a little bit more re-editing to it because unfortunately I lost the original material that I had on this video, and the version I downloaded from YouTube is a lower quality, so at least it gives me the opportunity to add some new edits to the video. Hello everybody, this is Richard Stashy from Tinker to Tales, and this is going to be a very short video. This one is from the 1962 Lolita. Kind of a funny story how I decided to jump into this rabbit hole. It started when I was watching another YouTuber talking about the book Lolita and how the two movies or adaptations kind of failed the book. And this YouTuber described that the Lolita book totally different compared to what I remembered hearing about, and I didn't think about ever reading Lolita book. The impression that I got from the 1990s is that it's a story about these two men in their 30s and a little bit of a war going on for the attraction of a very young girl. And it was like a type of story that I did not want to bother looking into, watching, or reading about. But this YouTuber explained the book. He explained it that the book was done by an unreliable narrator, and the character Humphrey is a let's just say an evil snake. And my eyes expanded when I heard him say that this was done by an unreliable narrator. Based on my understanding about Stanley Kubrick, if he is a avid reader and he did a lot of research, I don't see how he would miss the opportunity to do an unreliable narrator in the 1962 film. And sure enough, in the first 10 minutes of the movie, I saw the signs. Now, I'm not going to try to say I cracked the Lolita code, but I do have a sneaky suspicion that the story itself is definitely not what you think it is. And I know that a lot of people that read the book say otherwise, that the Stanley Kubrick film is way off, not even connected with the book. And I feel like that's because they have not been in the school of The Shining. What I meant by the school of The Shining is that I've been so wrapped up in the Shining rabbit hole for almost 3 years, learning everything about the continuity differences, which I'm going to be calling it from now on. Differences, the continuity differences between the shots in the story. And I learned so much in the from The Shining is that I kind of noticed a few things. The easiest one to identify, I would say, is the toast. If you sit down and watch Lolita and you watch the scene where Doris Hayes enters the room with Humford and brings up his breakfast up there, and she's eating a white toast, and then when she sits down at the windowsill, and then eventually it changes from white toast to more like a burnt type toast. Her attitude also shifts, and this was definitely an indication, and very easy to spot indication that what is going on. I mean, the scene that we're seeing is not really what Doris Hayes is doing to Humford. She's not feeding him the egg per se. More like this was his imagination, his hallucination, his fantasy, whatever you want to consider to call it at the time. Call it. This is what his impression of what she's doing to him is, giving him this egg to eat. And there's a lot other incidences that I've seen throughout the movie, which leads me to ask a question on Reddit about how much can we trust if the book is from an unreliable narrator. And the question that I was leaning towards is like, my feeling is that Doris Hayes' mother, Charlotte, was murdered by Humford. Now, I'll talk more into that later in other videos, but I just wanted to point out that my gut feeling in the movie is that he murdered her, and I could see the signs in it. And definitely when I asked the question, a lot of people were like, no, I'm totally wrong. But while reading the book, and I have this very interesting version of the book, and what's really awesome is like this book is from 1959, so this is an earlier print that came out compared to the this is an earlier print before the 1962 movie, which is great in my opinion. It doesn't have any anything linking towards the Stanley Kubrick film, which is great, and it also smells very old. and the best part is, like, I got this off of eBay and it's a lot cheaper than the actual, if I bought a newer version of it. So anyway, I end up getting the book, and I'm reading through the book itself. I'm not really a fast reader, so it's going to take me a while, and I might actually do a breakdown in the book too. And also in the book, I would say that I kind of feel that Charlotte Hayes was murdered by Humford, even in the book itself. And the beautiful thing is that neither the book nor the movie actually shows it that he killed her, but you get the impression through some of the clues throughout the story that that's what happened. So anyway, I'll clue you in on more about the Lolita movie as well as the Lolita book. And I do want to say, even though a lot of people seem to think that the Stanley Kubrick film is not like the book, I kind of want to argue differently, and hopefully I'll be able to present my arguments in some up and coming videos. That's not going to be a long time to wait. These are going to be very time consuming to make, because there's a lot of things to go through, and as it stands right now, I would hold Lolita, the 1962 film, right under The Shining in fascination. I am totally fascinated by this movie. I think I actually saw it like 3 times, and I thought the first time when I was going to watch it was going to be a chore, and it wasn't. So if you haven't watched the movie, I highly recommend it. And if you are very in tune with what's going on with the stuff that we've been talking about in The Shining, or you've been watching Miss M's videos on The Shining, as we talk about the continuity differences between the scenes, if you keep your eye on these things, you would also see a different type of story. And if you have read the book, you'll pretty much see that they're kind of the same story. It's just basically you can't trust the narrator in the Lolita story, and definitely cannot trust the narrator that you're seeing in the movie too. Anyway, this is Richard Stachey from Tinker to Tales, and sorry for a long wait, but hopefully we'll get another video soon. Thank you.